Yo, what up? Real quick. So we got some interesting news in college football. The A-Sun and the WAC are teaming up to try to move back to the try to move to the FBS. And I say back um, because there are some teams in the WAC that used to be in the old reiteration of the WAC, which was like your TCU's, your Boise's. Uh, I think I think Idaho had to move back to FCS. Um, I think like one of the San Jose schools and who else and somebody else that was part of the Mountain West. Well, that's in the Mountain West now. That used to be part of the old WAC. So I saw this. I was like, this is let's see. I don't know how this is shape up because I don't know. I don't really know too many schools. I mean, once I read the article, obviously I'll know who's in the A Sun. But when you think of the Atlantic Sun, you think of like basketball. You really don't think football. Them pairing up, I don't. The problem is the football just moving up doesn't mean anything. Like the football still has to be good. It has to be competitive. It's like putting all the schools together just to make a conference. What would you even call it? The West, the Atlantic Western Athletic Conference. It's not doesn't make any no it doesn't work. The Wax Sun, that sounds horrible. Wax Sun. Ugh. I don't know how they would come up with a name, but anyway, let's go ahead and read this article by Pete Damel of ESPN. The remaining football members of the Atlantic Sun and WAC have agreed to align to form the foundation of a 10-member football only conference, sources told ESPN, with the intention of becoming the 11th FBS conference. Sources found whoa, I am skipping words right now. Sources said the founding documents for the league state the group intends to move from what is currently known as FCS football to what is currently known as FBS football at the earliest practicable date. I am reading it, but I can't read. I'm sorry. Uh, okay, so I'm gonna tell you off rip right now. The people that was talking about the HBCU stuff and the swag and all that. Get ready for them videos because they're gonna be like, hey, see them guys, see they're doing it too. They can do it. We can do it too. Not so fast, my friend. Let's go ahead and read this article uh, and see what actually entails this. Okay. The schools that have signed on to join the league are WAC football members: Stephen F. Austin, Abilene Christian, Utah Tech, Southern Utah, and Tarleton State. Oh my gosh, I don't know. None of them. So what? Oh, so those are the schools that signed on. Okay, I guess say because the WAC has more schools than that. The new WAC. And then Atlantic Sun members are Austin P, Eastern Kentucky, Central Arkansas, and North Alabama. Eh, the problem with this alignment is it's the schools they stretch too thin. So you got teams for all the way from Utah, and you're gonna all the way to what are we at? Kentucky, Arkansas. Like that's two different areas of the country. Like Utah, like pretty west, and like Kentucky and Arkansas, like they're pretty close to the East Coast. You know what I mean? So like I mean, in college, they want to protect the kids from all that travel and all that, but apparently it doesn't really matter because they keep doing these really weird conference alignments where teams are like traveling like over multiple states to get the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I get like from Florida to Kentucky, Florida to Alabama. That's pretty reasonable. But you're going from Utah. Is Utah Mountain Time or is that Pacific Time? And then you're coming all the way to Arkansas, Kentucky, and that's Eastern Standard Time. we jumping time zones down. That's what I'm saying. UT Rio Grande Valley. What the hell is that? Is that Utah Rio Grande Valley? Is that what that is? Which recently announced that it's starting a program is also expected to join in 2025 in the program's first season as the league's 10th member. The goal is for the conference to start playing in 2024 with 9 members. Ambiguity looms around the process to becoming an FBS league. However, all the schools that play in the FCS will also need to go through a formal transition process. Right, this is going to take time. Plus, they're trying to make a whole new conference. The schools have signed a multi-party term sheet agreement to commit to the new league. Sources familiar with the agreement said the schools desire to form a partnership for the development and operation of a football-only conference. They want money. Let's be real. Now, the thing is, who are they going to schedule out of conference right now? Because none of these teams have the players to compete. That's why they're in FCS for a reason. It's not just the money thing. It's not just a attendance thing. It's an X's and O's and physicality thing. Like who would they like Southern Utah and Utah Tech? I guess they wanted to play like Utah State, and I guess they wanted to schedule Utah because it's right there in the state. But they would get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? At least right now, like I think they would, if they're going to do some out of conference, because you got to have out of conference games. Start on the small scale. Get like I don't know, like I don't even know. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's really. I don't even know, man. Where am I at? The league hasn't picked a name, but has narrowed the options. In the founding document, is referred to as ASUN WAC football, which won't be the name moving forward. Okay, cool. I get it's just like a placement name. I get it. The programs for the two conferences are familiar with each other after partnering in 2021 and 2022 to gain automatic qualification for the FCS playoff. The reasoning for the new league is, according to sources, greater certainty in scheduling and recruiting and a clear pathway to the highest levels of college football. I guess I don't see anybody in that conference doing anything anytime soon to make to make any actual noise in FBS. That's good. Cat dog. Yeah, cat dog. Cat dog. A lonely world with a little cat dog. Yeah. It's a cool cup. What am I looking at? Also, the schools expect increased revenue through a more lucrative broadcast contract and increased guaranteed game revenue because the games would count towards bowl eligible if they become a FBS league. Yeah. The agreement includes the goal to immediately explore expansion opportunities. League officials have begun early conversations with at least 4 other high-profile FCS football programs. Multiple presidents from the league informed NCAA officials of the school's collective interest in forming a new FBS league. The meeting happened within the past month. The process of becoming the 11th FBS league is not certain because there's currently a moratorium in NCAA Division I on single sport conferences. Ending that moratorium will require a vote from the NCAA Division I Board of Directors or a creative solution for a league affiliate. Yeah, because they do that just to keep everything simple, and so you don't have. It just makes everything a lot easier when it comes to scheduling and when you got to schedule these games and you have these kids. I guess they either got to fly or bus all the way around these places. I think the only other place that I can think of is like the Big East. So the Big East doesn't have a foot. They don't. I don't think they have they don't have an FBS football conference anymore, but they still have a Division One. They have a basketball conference. You know what I'm saying? So and then and like I think like Notre Dame. Notre Dame is like the other exception. They're still an independent, but they play in basketball. They're in the ACC. So it's kind of like that. But you got to get the waivers and all that red tape you got to go through. I think it's cool. I guess if they want to do it, but I think a lot of times this stuff they're trying to get this stuff to happen too quickly. Like they want all this stuff done in 2 years. Well, in a year actually, because it's almost 2023 in a few weeks. I think you got to take your time with this. You got to really think about it. I think they're looking too far down the road in FBS. They got to pump our brakes. Like it's gonna take a lot of these schools years to get to that legit FBS level. And I'm talking about even like Group of Five level type of prestige. You know what I mean? We feel very confident in talking to NCAA officials that they'd support this. There's no grounds for them to stand on to deny it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no reason for them to say no. I mean, if y'all got the plan and it works out, it makes sense. If the dollars make sense, then sure, do it. Like I said, it's gonna be a long transition for a lot of these schools, and I don't want the last thing you want is for this to fall apart and to have to run and not run, but have to fall apart and end up going back to FCS anyway, or the conference breaks up and some of these schools end up moving to other conferences that are in the FBS. One article that current NCAA legislation doesn't contemplate the scenario of a new FBS league being formed. There is not a known mechanism in place for the NCAA to approve or deny a new FBS league. Yeah. Wait, no, they haven't. No, they haven't. They've moved leagues around. They've taken out leagues. Like I said, the Big East doesn't have a football conference anymore, and the WAC used to be an FBS conference, and then it moved back. It moved down to FCS when pretty much everyone left. When Utah, I forgot about Utah. When Utah, Boise, TCU, they all left. The conference fell apart. I'm so sad for Hawaii, man. Hawaii had that. Oh man, I miss. Shout out to Colt Brennan, man. I think Hawaii is FCS too now, aren't they? I don't think they're FBS anymore. I think they moved down when everyone else left. I mean, that just shows you gotta build on the momentum, man. That's why TCU is they're in the college football playoff now. They started from the WAC. They're now they're in the 15 years later in the freaking college football playoff. Utah just won 2 Pac-12 titles. You know what I'm saying? Boise is the only team I'm really shocked is still in the Mountain West. They should have been, if anything, they should have been in the Pac-12 with Utah. Boise State should have been the first school out of that conference to leave at that point. They didn't take I don't know if it was the money. I don't know if they weren't certain about the upgrade in competition. I don't know what it was. Even now, they're not even the best team in the Mountain West now. I think that's Fresno State just whipped them in the conference title game. It is a topic that NCAA Division I Transformation Committee is discussing generally and could offer general guidance on, but that's not a certainty. It's been more than 2 decades since the new FBS league was added when the Mountain West began operating. Okay, there you go. It's 1981. So the Mountain West is pretty young, actually. Okay. Generally, for FCS schools that jump to the FBS, it's a 2-year transition period, which includes NCAA Division I Board of Directors approval. According to the NCAA handbook, before FCS institution may apply for reclassification for the SBS, the institution must receive a bona fide invitation for membership from a FBS conference or a conference that previously met the definition of a FBS conference. What? Wait, what? But if there's no previous whoa. So I guess okay. So I guess the ASUN teams are getting invited to the WAC, and the WAC was a previous FBS conference. Okay, that works. Okay. As for the CFP, there have been no discussion on how that would eventually work, although there's a plan to engage in the near future. I don't even know why this is a thing. None of them schools are going to be anywhere near that in any time. So even with the expansion. Well, actually, with the expansion, that actually makes a conundrum. No, not really. Like I said in the previous video, when they expanded, um, so like I said, you have to be a conference champion in the top 25. So like I said, you still have to be in the top 25. Don't matter, even if you win the AAC, if you're not a top 25 team, that's not going to be good enough. Only if you have a resume that's bigger than like a top 25 team that's not a champion. You know what I mean? Dang. I didn't even think about that. That's something else to add to it. One of the manifestations of the new league's formation has already appeared publicly. Austin Peay outlined a plan to jump to the FBS by 2025 during a recent board of trustees meeting. Okay, so yeah, that's the article. I mean, it'll happen. I don't see why it wouldn't happen. There's no reason. I don't think they're going to be like if they join, is it really going to have that big of a ripple effect? No, not really. It's just unusual to have a whole. Like I said, the article itself said the last time they had a new conference was '99, and that was with the Mountain West. So the WAC, I guess the WAC predates the Mountain West. But it's weird. The WAC is the one conference that is no longer FBS, and the Mountain West is still standing. Um, I think it'll happen because there's no reason not to have it. I mean, it'll add 10 more teams. I mean, so you bump to 140. It's not gonna make a difference. Um, for football, not really. It's not gonna make too big of a difference. It'll be more money for these schools. You get more TV rights. But this is more. See, it's only football only. I could see if this was like a. I want to see what would have happened if this was affecting the basketball side of things and with like March Madness and stuff like that. But I don't think because Atlantic Sun has pretty good. They actually have a lot. They actually have a pretty good basketball conference. With cause I think who's in who they got? Austin Peay. Austin Peay is always a contender in the tournament. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Happens down the line. I think it'll happen. I just don't think. I don't think it's something you need to actually rush to do. It's not gonna make a difference. I guess if these schools are really strapped for cash, I guess they kind of need. I guess they kind of have to try to get this formed in the next couple of years. But I don't. There's no rush for this to happen. It's not going to make a difference when it comes to the playoffs. None of these teams are going to be playoff contenders for at minimum 15 years. If we're being really honest, yeah, the way football is now. A lot of these group of five schools, um, it just makes it so much harder to actually be a dominant program nowadays. You know what I mean? Because like I said, especially all them AAC schools, some of the Mountain West schools are pretty good. Who else? What's some of the MAC schools are good. Um, Conference USA's got some pretty good teams. You know what I'm saying? So like, who would be that team in this this hypothetical conference they're trying to make? Who would be the best team from the 10 teams? Oh, I forgot. Stephen F. Austin has a pretty good basketball program. I don't watch too much. I watch very little FCS stuff, other than like some of them. Like I watch a I watched a few of the Jackson State games this year. I watched the Bayou Classic the other weekend. I watched the SWAC championship game, and that's about it. And then I haven't watched any of the FCS playoffs this year because I've been so busy watching the FBS stuff. So it's like I don't keep up with them. So I don't know if these teams are actually like is the football programs worthy of moving up? Y'all tell me if these schools actually have pretty good football programs that they deserve to move up, then yeah. But if they're just doing this just so they can get some money, then nah, because you're a recipe for disaster. Because you're not going to last. The conference is going to fold. You're going to end up back in the same predicament you are now. So yeah, if it happens, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But it doesn't need to happen no time soon. Take your time, think of the logistics, and then come to the conclusion. All right, later.